Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching today's midday weather outlook for the southern region brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, over the next few days, we're going to have a lot of the news media attention and a lot of the attention on the weather going to be across this large system that's moving through the north central plains where we're expecting a lot of snow and some very, very cold air. Some of that cold air will get into the southern region, but looking at our all hazards weather map, this is one of the only regions in the U.S. right now that is kind of void of any major weather stresses, at least here in the near term. But we have to take a broader scale look at this because when we just step back over the last 3 days, we do notice that while parts of the Mid-South, Tennessee, Kentucky, getting into Arkansas, southern Missouri, and Oklahoma did get some heavier rainfall, as well as parts of northern Mississippi and Alabama. There have been places that have really missed out on this rainfall. We can see that even though coastal Florida picked up quite a bit, there's a narrow band in there that stretches from the Carolinas getting into parts of Georgia and southern Alabama and the panhandle of Florida that has been dry for a long time. And if we look at the forecast moving forward, we see that that particular region continues to stay dry outside of a hit or miss shower or thunderstorm really over the next 5 days. The problem with the front that is sweeping through here around this deep low pressure system that's going in this direction is this system is lifting slowly toward the north and east, and as a consequence it just doesn't bring a big frontal boundary through to kind of bring in a lot of heavy rain. So while the next 5 days does look dry for this corridor in through here, I do have some good news for you in the week 2 forecast, which we're going to get to in a few moments. But look at the deficits that we've built up over the last 60 days. So this is the departure from normal rainfall. We're measuring this in inches. And we see in pockets in parts of the south, anywhere between 5 and in some locations pushing close to 10 inches of deficit. Specifically, I'm seeing this region right in through here showing up very dry compared to average. And that's not to say that's the only region. You can see the other spots that have been very dry. So this is certainly a longer term problem. And like I said, some good news coming in the week 2. So let's try to get there and figure out what's going to happen. These were the lingering showers we had in the overnight hours. By the time we got to early in the morning here, those showers had, of course, faded away and aren't really bringing us too much of a chance of rainfall as we progress through the day on Tuesday. So again, this is Tuesday, maybe in the Appalachian Mountains, some widely scattered showers and storms. Meanwhile, just off the coast, we have a pretty deep low that's forming there. That coastal low will stay off the coast. It's actually had some tropical characteristics to it, but it's not something that we need to be concerned about at this point. So as we get through the day on Wednesday, we can see our powerful low pressure system taking shape in the midsection of the country, while higher atmospheric pressure does dominate parts of the southeast. Could be some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms on the return flow of the moisture by the time we get into the day on Thursday, coming up through this corridor, through the lower Mississippi River Valley, feeding into the storm system. But the next chance at some substantial rainfall for parts of the southern region is going to be right here on Thursday. So we're going to keep a close eye on this region Thursday afternoon, evening, and overnight hours for the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms right in through here as this system really cranks up. So you'll see it go here, and then it brings the heavier rainfall through parts of central Texas, getting up into Arkansas, so right through this particular band by Friday morning. And then as you see Friday afternoon, Friday evening, it's trying to push through the lower Mississippi River Valley. Again, this will be a band of widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. But as this system stalls out here, as it becomes vertically stacked, that means the upper level low is sitting over the surface low, and it almost becomes cut off from the main flow of the jet stream. What that does is that prevents the powerful cold front from just continuing to advance, lifting air, bringing a lot of precipitation. So you see there that as it approaches this very dry corridor in through here, well, it kind of just loses its ability to produce much precipitation. It's just a weak front at that point. But it does have a lasting effect into next week. So believe it or not, it's hard to see here, but there is a front that stretches just like this. And what is interesting about this is getting into early next week, right here, I know this is all connected. There is a frontal boundary sitting right here that's such, by, midweek next week, we could get some very heavy rainfall around it. Now notice the difference in orientation. See, it's kind of split, not split, but it's running east-west. And on the northern side of it, a pretty big area of higher atmospheric pressure. And the flow around that high is like this. So what we want to see happen is we want to keep this high in place, get the flow from the north. We then want, coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, coming off of a high that's off the page here, flow like this, such that the boundary sits right in through here. Now, the problem is with cotton and peanut harvests underway right now, plus whatever's still going on with the harvesting of corn and soybeans, this could be some untimely rain, but desperately needed across a region that is very, very dry. And so that's why when we look out into week 2, both of these maps are only week 2 precipitation. We see wetter than average conditions here in the GFS ensemble. We also see the same thing in the European ensemble. And so very good news pointing it to week 2, but plan accordingly because this is a pretty robust signal right now. And watch the videos all week long to see if we continue to see the same thing evolving for midweek next week. Some locally very heavy rainfall could really help out with the drought situation that's developing in that area. Now, turning our attention to temperatures, take a look at this map. This is going to be an animation of each day this week looking at the deviations from normal from our high temperatures. And as we play it forward, you're going to see that, well, here's Tuesday's high temperature departures. Look at Wednesday. So we see much of the southern region 5 to 15 degrees above average, but you see the front advancing such that by this is the high temperature anomaly on Thursday. It's already crept into the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. Still much of the rest of the South, again, 7 to 15 degrees above average. But watch, this is now getting into Friday's departures, Saturday's departures, and Sunday. But the only place that hangs on to their warmer bias is going to be that same region that's been quite dry down here in parts of Alabama, Georgia, and South and North Carolina, right in through there, and also in parts of the northern part of Florida. So that is what our temperature pattern looks like, just getting us out through Sunday. So this front that's coming through is quite powerful. Let me show you what those high temperatures do. I'm sorry, this always plays fast, but let's just take a look at this is Tuesday's highs. We see across the southern region a lot of upper 70s, lower 80s. So we've certainly shaken off the really high temperatures that we did see. Wednesday, very similar, but as the next low takes shape here, we'll be pulling up quite a bit of heat out ahead of it. Here into parts of central and southern Texas. But you're going to notice the front advances by Thursday, and even though we're going to have some pretty impressive temperature extremes across Texas, in other words, the panhandles here may be in the upper 50s, lower 60s, all the way down to southern Texas, which will be approaching 100 degrees. You'll see that front comes through and clears things out in Texas. Those are high temperatures on Friday. Look at Texas and Oklahoma. Meanwhile, the south still hangs on to its warmer bias, the southeast, until we get into Saturday and Sunday when things start to finally cool down here. Remember, it's only this region that hangs on to the near average to slightly above average temperatures through Sunday. By the time we get into Monday, the jet stream pattern does tend to flatten out a little bit. This is Tuesday. We can see that much of the southern region hanging on to those 70s to lower 80s temperatures as we progress all the way through the middle of next week. Now, is there potential for getting some frost in any part of the southern region? Well, we certainly want to talk about it because there it is. That just played out pretty quickly. Check it out. Ready? This is Tuesday morning lows, Wednesday morning lows, Thursday, and you can pause the video at any point and get a closer look, okay? But I want to get you right to Friday, right there. By Friday morning, we could get the leading edge of the front bringing, temperatures down below the freezing mark in the panhandle of Oklahoma and in Texas. We see that on Saturday, it still lingers there. But look at these low temperatures on Saturday getting down into the 40s. Yes, the 40s in through this area. So that's certainly going to feel quite cold, several degrees colder than normal. By Sunday, look at this, 40s for northern parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and 50s elsewhere. And we see that we kind of hang on to that. This is Monday's temperatures. Tuesday starts to rebound back up in the 50s, though. You can see the temperatures moderate some after that. So this front that's coming through is quite powerful. So summarizing it over the next 5 days, we're going to be watching the advancement of that front with really only the southeast hanging on to its warmer bias. By days 6 through 10, we've really cleared things out throughout much of the southern region, bringing in much more normal temperatures. And as the jet stream pattern relaxes, really we only see our major cool anomalies getting into the 11 to 15 day time period stretch here along parts of the Appalachian Mountains, getting up into the northeast, and where we're putting down quite a bit of snow cover here. Outside of that, the southern region is going to see near average, maybe even slightly warmer than average temperatures as we progress into the 11 to 15 day forecast. The tropics are relatively inactive. In other words, no major systems we need to be watching right now, as these two tropical disturbances do stay offshore. You saw them a moment ago. And the system that we got a little bit better chance at forming here out in the open Atlantic is not right now a threat to the U.S. mainland. But what do we not see? We don't see these areas lighting up. So, but the only thing I want to finish with here when it comes to tropics is what's going on over in the Western Pacific. Powerful typhoon that is forecast to be going toward Japan over the next 3 to 5 days. And the problem is this gets taken up into the upper level jet stream flow, and it's really going to crank up the jet stream. Now I want to show it to you. I know this projection is not perfect for it, but let's just show you what I'm talking about. There's the trough that sweeps through right here. This is one that's coming through middle and end of this week. Now it's off the page a little bit, but do you see that blob right there? That cold? That is the typhoon, the powerful typhoon that's going over Japan. Now why I'm concerned about it is keep your attention there, because it comes right in through here and gets absorbed into that trough. And as that trough takes shape, it is really going to create a screaming fast branch of the jet stream that comes right in through this area. Now, if that part of the jet stream stays relatively zonal as it moves through here, that will flatten out the overall pattern for us by midweek next week. But it seems to be the feature that then eventually by next Friday gets here over the Pacific Northwest and then sweeps, here it is, it's still sitting here, and then possibly gives us a pretty active storm pattern in the midsection of the country before sweeping here over the Great Lakes. So that, do you see this feature? This is Tuesday the 22nd. Today, that is a typhoon. Isn't that amazing to see how the atmosphere can communicate to these particular features thousands and thousands of miles? And that could be the cool down we'll be seeing here as we get to the end of October here for the Northeast. So that's just some pretty amazing stuff. But right now, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this forecast video up right here and hope that you all have a great week. Stay tuned. We need to keep a close eye on that week 2 precipitation pattern because it could be substantial for parts of the Southeast that are parched with drought. I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.